Have you ever stared at one of those giant lists of social media tips and just felt totally overwhelmed? Well, that's what we're going to tackle today. We're taking all that chaos and turning it into a powerful, actionable playbook. We're going to boil down dozens of tactics into a clear strategy for driving real traffic from social media. So let's open up this playbook and get right into it. It's the big question, isn't it? In a world where everyone is endlessly scrolling, getting noticed can feel like trying to win the lottery. But here's the thing. It's not about luck. It's about having the right strategy. The difference between just shouting into the void and actually connecting with your audience, it all comes down to a few key plays, and we are about to break them all down for you.
All right, here is our game plan for today. We're going to kick things off with how to get discovered in the first place. Then we'll jump into creating content people actually want to see, how to drive traffic from that content, and then we'll get into some serious growth hacking. Finally, we'll talk about your next move. Think of this as your step-by-step guide to turning those social profiles into traffic-generating machines.
First up, being discoverable. Look, before you can get a single click, a single like, anything, people have to be able to find you. And maybe even more importantly, they have to trust what they see when they find you. This is all about building that solid foundation. Let's start with something that seems super obvious, but it's really the bedrock of trust online. And you'd be surprised how many businesses get this wrong. First, always use a business page or a fan page, not a personal one. That's how you unlock all the professional tools. Then, you gotta lock in that authenticity with your official logo and fill out all the business info. This isn't just about data entry. It's a powerful signal to anyone who lands on your page that you're a legitimate, trustworthy operation. It's their very first impression. So your profile is all set up and looking professional. Now what? How do you actually get seen? Well, you have to start thinking like a search engine. Pop your main business keyword right into your video titles. On platforms like YouTube, use every single related tag you can possibly think of. But it's not just about algorithms, it's also about networking. By following and liking other pages and channels in your niche, you're strategically placing your name right in front of their audience. You're becoming visible inside the exact community you want to attract. Okay, moving on to our second play, creating engaging content. So being discoverable is step one, but now you have to give people a reason to stop that scroll and actually pay attention to you. This quote from our source material, it perfectly captures the entire goal of your content. Every title, every thumbnail, every single post should practically be screaming this message. It's not about being clever for the sake of being clever. It's about clearly communicating value and making an absolutely irresistible promise to the user. And this slide right here brilliantly illustrates what's called the peak strategy. Just look at the difference. The boring post, it just states a fact. Yawn. But the enticing post, it creates a curiosity gap. It tells you what the topic is, but it holds back those crucial details, making you need to click to find out more. You never want to give away the whole story in the social media post itself. You want to make them hungry for the rest. And hey, don't just stick to boring old text. Your content strategy needs variety. Use eye-catching video thumbnails that pop. Turn a simple announcement into a much more captivating image. And remember, it can't be all business all the time. Sprinkling in some fun stuff or interesting related articles keeps your page from getting stale and gives your audience a real reason to keep coming back for more. Okay, so you've been found and you've grabbed their attention. Now for the most important part of this whole thing, driving action and traffic. This is where we turn all that hard work into actual visitors on your website. This is where the magic happens. The absolute key to this play is the backlink. I want you to think of every social media post, every video description, every photo caption, even your replies in the comments as a potential doorway leading straight back to your website. The fundamental goal here is to build as many of these little doorways as you possibly can. And here's a beautifully simple way to do it. When a customer asks you a question, don't just give them the full answer right there in the comments. Instead, give them a helpful but partial answer, just enough to show them you're responsive. Then, guide them to the full details with a link. For instance, that's a great question. Yes, it has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. For a complete list of all the tech specs, you can check them out right here. See, you've just turned a simple question into a website visit. It's that easy. All right, now for the really fun part, mastering growth hacking. If those first three plays were about building a solid game, these next few are the advanced moves, the secret plays that can seriously accelerate your growth. Let's talk about the dummy account strategy. Now, this one requires some finesse, okay? The goal here is not to be a spammer. Look at the difference here. The spammy comment is so obviously an ad, it's painful. But the persuasive comment? That sounds like a genuine recommendation from a helpful person. By posting on related channels from an account that isn't obviously yours, you can create natural-sounding buzz and guide people to your page without it feeling like a pushy advertisement at all. Oh, this next one is just a brilliant YouTube trick. Here's what you do. Find a massively popular video in your niche. I'm talking something with tons and tons of views. Then create a new playlist and make that super popular video the very first one. Right after it, at number 2 or 3, you add your own video. You see what happens? Because YouTube autoplays the next video in a playlist, you get to ethically piggyback on that viral video's traffic, getting your content in front of thousands of viewers who just finished watching something they are clearly very interested in. So let's bring it all home and talk about your next move. Because let's be real, mastering today's platforms is great, but the social media game is always changing. So let's quickly recap the playbook. It all starts with being discoverable. You have to build that foundation of trust. From there, you earn attention with engaging content that sparks curiosity. Next, you convert that interest into clicks by strategically driving traffic with backlinks. And finally, you hit the accelerator with smart growth hacking. This 4-part framework, that's your core strategy, no matter what platform you're on. And that framework is what really matters, because platforms change. I mean, our source material mentions the fall of Friendster and was wondering if Google Plus would be the next big thing, which just goes to show you how fast this world moves. The names on the apps, they will always evolve. And that brings us to the final and most crucial question. The tactics we talked about today are built for the current giants. But the principles, being discoverable, being engaging, driving action, those are timeless. So the real challenge isn't just mastering today's tools. It's about being ready to apply this playbook to whatever comes next.